עת שתו לא תורגים מים, אשר פריו ייתן בעיתו, ועודם לא יבול, כל אשר יעשה יצליח. לא כן הרשעים, כי כמוץ אשר תתפנו רוח, על כן לא יקומו רשעים במשפט, וחטאים בעדת צדיקים, כי יודע אדוני דרך צדיקים ודרך רשעים תאבד. מזמור לדוד, אדוני מיגור באוהליך ומשכון בהר קודשך. הולך תמים ופועל צדק ודובר אמת בלבבו. לא רגע ללשונו, לא עשה לרעהו רעה וחרפה לא נשא על קרובו. נבזה בעיניו נמאס ואת ירא אדוני יכבד. נשבע להרע ולא ימיר, כספו לא נתן בנשך ושוחד על נקי לא לקח. עושה אלה לא ימות לעולם. מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא אחסר בנו דשא ירביצני, עמי מנוחות ינעלני. נפשי ושובב ינחילי במעגלי צדק למען שמו, גם כהלך בגיא המוות לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך עמה ינחמוני, תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, ישנת בשמן ראשי כוסי רוויה, אך טוב וחסד הודפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. Last from Henry, the grandson that was here the earliest, and I was able to come to lead us with one chapter from the book of Psalms in English.
Song of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. God causes me to lie down in lush pastures. God leads me beside tranquil waters. God restores my soul and guides me in righteous paths for God's name's sake. Though I will walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. You scepter and staff, they comfort me. Prepare a table before me in the full view of my adversaries. You've anointed my head with oil. My cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me. All the days of my life I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days.
As we say goodbye to Lois Weissberg, I want to first offer my condolences to the family, to the daughters, Cheryl and Michael Silverman from Pittsburgh, Susie and Philip Weiss from Solon, her brothers, Dr. Michael and Leslie and Victor Kresny, the grandchildren, Wyatt, I might butcher some names, but I'm asking for forgiveness in advance. Corey, Henry, and Blake Silverman, Boke and Maddie, and Jonah Weiss, and Kelly and Brian Sweeney. And there is other nephews and nieces and other members of the family that Susan sent me names yesterday, but I'm not so good on this, that maybe later somebody else will mention their names. I knew your mother for a long time. I mean, I met her by the events, and she used to come to bar mitzvahs, and other parties. She came from the kids who were in Hebrew school, and so I saw her many times. And yesterday I talked to both of you. Really, I heard mostly from Cheryl, because Susan didn't speak. I think she couldn't even talk. And I was thinking, what's the best way to describe your mother? She was a great daughter to her parents. She was a good sister, our older sister to younger two brothers who moved right after college to San Francisco, right? And she kept a good relationship with them. Even they run away from Cleveland right away. She still kept a relation with them. And I know how with the boys, you have to initiate a relationship again and again and again and again. And they forget to call, they forget to answer. But it was very important to her. When she got married, she raised two amazing daughters. She was very dedicated to you, as you told me yesterday, and as I saw it in myself. She gave you love to learning. You sent me a nice text this morning I got from you. Love to Judaism. She always found the humor in everything in life. She loved to read books, and she gave you this love too. But most importantly, she loved you to be sensitive to people who are less fortunate. And I saw it by you guys, how you are always trying to help to people who are not so, people are less, who don't have anybody to talk to them. I see Susan in the synagogue goes over to people that nobody's there for them. I'm sure it's true about you, but here I see her more often. And then when the grandchildren came, the boys and the girls, and she was involved with them, and you told me yesterday that she used to go over every name. What is he doing? What is the other guy doing? And go from name to name. She had to know every little thing, what is happening. And on top of that, she was continuing a relationship with your father's family. This is the unusual part. Even after they got divorced and for so many years, she still, I cannot remember where. I remember meeting you and your mother at a wedding in Detroit somewhere of your family. I cannot, it was years and years ago. I don't remember why I was there and what happened there. I remember you told me about the strong relationship. Never saw your religious family coming to every event, every time when they were here. That's an unusual thing. And you told me what good memories you have from this side of the family over the years, from bar mitzvahs, from attending weddings and everything. You told me about your mother going with you guys to visit your father when he was old and sick. And she didn't try to avoid it. She went to cheer him up, to make him happy. In addition to this, she was also a PR person. She represented companies, mainly non-profit. It's expected, it should be non-profit. And she was a reporter for the Plain Dealer and the Sun newspaper for 20 or 25 years. She covered parties and events. And then I was thinking how to describe her the best. And I saw you in the obituary you wrote about her that she left a great impression on anybody who was lucky enough to meet her. I was very impressed with the way you put it. It was true. Because I remember myself when I met her, I saw such a dignified person, kind, nice, with a smile, always has a nice word to say. And I was thinking about that there is something in the parsha that we read yesterday in the synagogue. The end of the parsha that describes your mother very well. It's written about Moses when he came down from Mount Sinai the second time with the second set of tablets. The Torah says that his face was glowing, shining. That was your mother. She had a glow on her face. She had something about her that left an impression on anybody. It's something you're born with. And that's expressed itself by her kindness and by her dignity and all the nice words she has to say. But there was something about her that she had it, and when anybody met her, remembered her, didn't forget her. And that's where, in this, she gave you the two daughters, and she gave it to the grandchildren. And the kindness that she had, I see it in you, both of you, and thank you, Cheryl, for sharing with me. I knew that Susie takes care of her mother, because she lives in Cleveland, and it was naturally. But what you said yesterday, how much she dedicated her life for this. She did everything for her to make it easier in the last 3-4 years that she was battling cancer. And these things, even to take care of an older parent who is healthy, is complicated. And somebody is sick, it doesn't get any easier, it gets only harder. And to help these people to keep their dignity is not an easy job. And therefore, I tell people always, when I was a child, I never understood why the Ten Commandments, why honoring your father and mother is written in the Ten Commandments. When I got older, and I realized what it means to take care of parents, I understood why it's in the Ten Commandments. That you lived up to it 100%, both of you. And this is the best example you can give your children. And may your children also continue in your mother's way of always being sensitive and kind to others, and the love that your mother gave you to your Yiddishkeit, they should continue it. And this is what I want to tell the next generation. The way to connect, to continue to have a relationship with your grandmother is by, until now it was by calling her, giving her a hug, sending a card. Now that she's in a higher world, the way to connect with her is with doing a mitzvah. It's like when you do a mitzvah in her memory, when you help somebody, when you light candles, when you kiss the mezuzah, when you do something, any mitzvah, any Jewish thing, by this you show, and you do it in her memory, that's like you're sending a card, you're sending a telegram to tell her that you think about her, a text message, forget about telegrams, text message, and in this moment she's praying for you because she cannot do mitzvahs anymore. Only when we are alive you can do mitzvahs. But we can deposit in her bank account. Now, when we do a mitzvah in her honor, in her memory, she, in the same time, turns to God and prays for us. This way you continue your traditions. Whatever was so important to her, and as I heard from both of your mothers, this is the way to continue every relationship with her. תהי נשמתה צרורה בצרור החיים. And now we'll hear from the family, whoever you decide to speak.
My earliest childhood memories include remembering my mother's pretty, loving face, looking at me always kindly. Her love and pride in her family was seemingly limitless. And this was a theme that continued through our life. She was also incredibly strong. You wouldn't know that from looking at her, because even at her top weight, she was still petite. She had to endure some significant life changes in her 40s, but she persevered, and she definitely made lemonade out of the lemons that life gave her. She also continued to persevere and had success in business and in her personal life throughout the rest of her years. But her biggest battle was how courageously and dignified she fought lung cancer for 3 long years. As any good Jewish mother does, my mother also had a long list of expectations for Susan and I. Some of the top ones were to be good Jewish daughters, to maintain our religion, holidays, culture, and to always behave like lovely mensches. This was not negotiable. It served us growing up, and I think it has continued to serve us as we are now mothers, wives, members of extended family, and part of communities. My mother had many interests and passions: literature, the arts, nature, travel, and being up to date on the world, sports, and current events. But in 1993, she carved out a new role for herself when her first grandchild, Wyatt, was born. She also lovingly then became known as Gam and Gammy. In this role, she channeled the best of herself in being a devoted, attentive, loving grandmother. She had a mutual admiration society with her grandchildren. She loved spending time with all of them and made sure to connect with them, whether it was via phone, text, or the happiest place for her was our in-person visits. Well, of course, I respected my mother, and I learned so much from her in her role as my parent. As an adult, I also cherished our time as we became friends. Her smarts, her sense of humor, her integrity, her devotion to Judaism and her family, and always making us a priority, made her the best kind of friend to have. I will miss so many things about her. Her loving legacy will live on in her adoring children, grandchildren, and extended family. And now the hard job in front of us is to try to wrap ourselves around not having her here. May her memory be a blessing.
Is Uncle Lona speaking?
I once heard that the best way to be an interesting person is to be interested, and I think, if nothing else, my Gammy was a very interesting person. I remember, obviously first being a much younger individual who didn't know a whole lot about the world and didn't know a whole lot about anything, but I knew that she was present and she was interested and invested, loved me, loved my brothers, my mother, my father, my aunts, uncles, everyone. She was just such a committed person to those who she loved, and she always found a way to show that interest. As a younger person, you don't always realize that your parents or grandparents or whoever's in your life is actually themselves a complicated individual with a long history and a whole life. It took a while to figure that out because I was just so busy running around and playing silly games or going to museums or whatever it was with Gammy, who always was present and was interested and invested and loving. I got to know her a little bit better in her non-GAM persona over the years and found the same sweet, interested person in so many other contexts. And looking at the crowd of people who fortunately got to know her, the family that shared so many wonderful memories and jokes and trips and everything, and I'm not sure what to say at this point other than that I loved her a lot. I know that she loved all of us, and I'm going to miss her terribly.
Anybody else from you? Right.
Now I got, I've had Lois as my mother-in-law for over 28 years. I think the first time I actually spoke to her was I was trying to track down my future wife, who I kind of left at the side of the road, trying to call me on a payphone, which kids there actually used to not have a cell phone. You actually had to go and find a payphone. And so then I tried to track down Cheryl and called my father-in-law, the P-Car David, and then he gave me Lois's number, and I called it up. Try not to sound like too much of an idiot, but she gave me Cheryl's number. I guess I somehow passed the test, and she told, I guess, Cheryl, I guess I sounded okay, and I mean, so she came through for me there, and I got 28, a lot of years. And the thing from the beginning is we were always, he used the term mother-in-law, but she was like a special person to me. And she, the biggest pride was when you talk about the love of her family, when she became a grandmother. That was just, the look on her face. I had pictures of her at different times, whether it be the youngest or who was just talking, whatever they did, and she just glowed. And she just loved her family, and there wasn't any diminishing. She loved her daughters, and so I was proud to have her as my mother-in-law. And in the end, I knew she was sick and wasn't going to end well. I just thank God that I saw her a week ago, and she was still herself. And I gotta believe that somehow, and all the planning, the fact that all her grandchildren are here to honor her today, from all the places they were, and just feel her presence yesterday. I just want to say I loved her, and Cheryl said it's going to be a lot of getting over missing her being around where she's supposed to be. So her memory will be a blessing. Her memories are all good.
Last from one from the family to lead us with the Kel Maleh Rachamim and prayer. Please rise.
El Maleh Rachamim, Shochem V'Amoyim, Hamsei B'Nuchem V'Choyna, Akar V'Ashkina, B'Malois, Kedoshim V'Tohorim, K'Zohar HaRakim Asir Misnishmas, Le'Rezel Bas Chayim, Shahachal Olamam, B'Avur Shanachnu V'Spalim B'Askos Nishmaso, V'Gan Eiden V'Heinu Nuchaso, L'chein B'Al HaRachamim, Yastirah B'Seisik V'Netom L'Olamim, Yitzhak B'Sach Hayim V'Nishmaso, Adonai Hu Nachal Oso, V'senuach v'shalom v'shkavod v'gomar. Amen.
Amen.
God, full of compassion that dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your presence in the lofty levels of the holy and pure who shine as the brightness of the firmament onto the soul of Levezel, daughter of Chaim, who has gone to her world, and for whose memory we pray. May her repose be in paradise. May the Master of compassion bring her under the cover of God's wings and bind her soul in the bond of life. May the Lord be her heritage, and may she repose on her resting place in peace. And let us respond, Amen.
Amen.
Now we're going to lower the casket, and then everybody will have the chance, their mitzvah, to cover the grave.
Folks, watch yourself. He's coming up this way. Watch out, watch out. Any other family or friends that wish to help place some earth, you're asked to do so at this time, please, if you come forward.
Scrape it off the boards at the bottom.
Oh, yes. Sorry, here, yeah.
going to recite the Kaddish. After the mothers come over, we're going to recite the Kaddish.
Take a break over.
Amen.
יהי שם רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen.
עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Ask everybody form two lines and the mothers will go in between.
We're going to ask family and friends to come here and create an aisle. Some folks to my right, some folks to my left, leading back to the roadway. This is the Shura, the Island Constellation. First the two ladies, and then the other family members, and children, all walking together. At this time, folks, services are concluded. Those who wish may return to your cars.